everybody, and welcome back to
Mario Kart 8!
And in this video, I'm being joined by RexTempus. Hello!
I believe it should be Mario Kart Infinity!
Yeah,
I think that would sound cooler, but...
Tilt it. And in this episode, we are going to be playing as Link. Again, like last time.
Again!
Ooh. Button wheels.
I feel like those are not Link-approved wheels.
I don't think those are street-legal wheels. And in this video, we're going to be doing a little bit of deja vu. We're going to go back to this track. I know, but this time it's 100cc, so that makes all the difference.
Okay. Because we're going to talk about the Ice Climbers, correct? Who are good friends of Link.
Yeah, that's why.
I know. I keep trying to get Ice Climbers in wherever I can, but...
Slightest Nintendo reference is going to be opening for RexTempus to talk about Ice Climbers.
That's right.
No, we're playing on the Triforce map, of course, because we're going to be talking about the newest Legend of Zelda that we've only played for about, like, 30 minutes or less.
Yeah, so we're experts on the field and have all kinds of opinions about it.
And the opinions we do have is complete and, based on, the game itself.
Yes. Alright, so let's start with the obvious question. What are your thoughts? Have you enjoyed it so far for the first 30 minutes?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Couple things. Seems really fun. The style seems the same as far as the huge open worldness.
Right.
Currently, my only worry, actually while I was playing and recording it, my only worry was because they were bringing in a whole bunch of new mythos and new lore, which, you know, I kind of hope they're not, like, trying to replace the old one, which is what it seems like they're doing, but, you know, I've only played for 30 minutes, so maybe, maybe not. I guess this is, what do you call it? Someone's first reaction. First thoughts. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think, you know, when you think about it, like, changing the lore, it'd be kind of weird in a way to bring Ganon back, like, after he's just been defeated.
Well, no, you never actually played, I don't think you actually played the previous game, but he really was defeated. So, he's even less of an expert than I am.
Yeah, it's weird, because I've played, like, so many Legend of Zelda games, but I just never got around to that one.
Yeah, well, you assume that you defeated Ganon, which you really don't. He's called Ganon, but he's kind of presented as more of a figure of, like, more of a force of evil, and less of an actual, tangible human. Like,
okay.
He's less of a single identity, more of a, in general, evil cloud, basically.
Right, okay.
And so, it's actually perfect for Ganon to be there, but so far from, you know, what little we did play, it seems like that, I think he's in there? Just from a few trailers, but so far I haven't seen him. I just hope that they're not introducing new characters, and also, they don't need new origins, because they kind of had a lot of origins, especially with Skyward Sword.
Right. Which, as far as I know, is still, you know, canonically the earliest game.
Yeah. And
which was...
Breath of the Wild and this next one are technically the furthest latest one.
Are they? Because I know for the longest time the last one was considered like the actual first two games. Which always kind of struck me as weird.
I mean, this wasn't necessarily official lore, but one of the games, Hyrule Warriors, actually kind of had it in their lore that there was actually a deity entity was in charge of the 3 timelines, but had fallen in love with the hero of Hyrule, being Link, of course. The next game after that was, you know, Breath of the Wild, which kind of makes sense because it adds elements from almost every game. So canonically, yes, it kind of fits perfectly, as in it would be the last of the game, and also all the mergers of the timeline.
Right, yes, the, Nintendo was doing a multiverse before Marvel, you know.
Yes.
No, Marvel's had one for, you know, years.
That's just my current worry, is that, like, they're going to completely replace everything and add new stuff, which They really don't need to, because The Legend of Zelda is full of so much, like, stuff like... Wasn't it in Wind Waker? Oh, I didn't get crushed. Okay, good. Wasn't it Wind Waker that the Rito were once the Zoras?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, the, like, fish people evolved into bird people, so... That was always a bit of a weird, you know, it's like you went from the water to the sky.
Actually...
Especially on a flooded world, you know?
I saw, like, an interesting idea with that was, like, they possibly, like, they didn't evolve like that naturally, but more that the gods actually intervened with the descendants of the Zoras, so that way they weren't the domain creature, basically. So they basically intervened.
Gotcha. Well, you know,
it actually makes sense.
Of course, you know what the entire problem with the whole Legend of Zelda lore is? It's written by a guy who hates lore.
What? You know? No, that was Mario, I thought.
Shigeru Miyamoto made Link as well.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. And, you know, he's kind of like the or at least he was, the overseer of almost all Nintendo projects, and you know, I mean, the problem is... I
probably should have known that, but I didn't, so...
Yeah.
I have now revealed my... obliviousness.
I mean, he didn't make every Zelda, or every Nintendo character out there, but he did make a lot of the big ones.
Yeah.
And in fact, he said that his game with The Legend of Zelda was inspired by his childhood love of exploration.
Yeah, I remember that. So, that's interesting, because for Mario, that he can get away with that, because Mario, you really don't need lore, but in The Legend of Zelda, I feel like that one kind of needs a little bit more lore / continuity.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. And that's the problem. I mean, they kind of like, I don't know, I find it weird, you know, from a creative standpoint, to like kind of hate your creation in a way. You create a game and then you're like, oh, I don't want to go back and talk about anything from the game ever again.
Yeah.
And it's like, wouldn't you want to build on it in some way? I mean, it's okay to do prequels,
and,
you know,
maybe
or...
like, and yet, that's the other thing. I thought you were going to say the problem is that they've had so many games and so much lore that they couldn't possibly do all of it, which, that I understand. But to not even try to do it, that's kind of weird, especially since it's so beloved by everyone.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I mean, Mario fans, I mean, yeah, they're, you know, I mean, Mario as a game is kind of like a simple, casual, fun-loving, and so the fans, you know, understand that, you know, just take things easy, don't get all caught up in the lore and things like that.
But, like with The Legend of Zelda, it almost kind of seems like it wants you to do that, because, you know, it brings in so many mythos and stories and plots and stuff like that, recurring characters.
Yeah. And then, like, then you have a situation with, like, Tears of the Kingdom versus, you know, with Breath of the Wild, where it's a direct sequel and they fully acknowledge, like, we're starting from the same point, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning of the game, he has all 20 hearts, he has, you know, like, his max endurance, he has every weapon and power-up.
Well,
and
he doesn't. If he, for some reason, he doesn't have his paraglider, but maybe they'll explain that in the...
Well... Yeah, he was storing it. It's like, oh, I'm going under the castle. I don't need to carry a paraglider with me. You know, maybe a tunneler or a digger or something, but... So sometimes they lean heavily into the sequel part, and then other times...
as in, like, it's literally the last game. And not only that, but, like in Pokemon they did that before. Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, it was a direct sequel, but you're a completely different character, so... You know, it made sense that, you know, you weren't referenced directly, but, like, in Breath of the Wild, one of the things you do is you create a town, basically. And so, I'm not sure if the people actually acknowledge that, oh, hey, look, there's the guy who literally started the town. Or if you're just now, oh, you're a weird stranger, traveler. And that'd be really weird, because it's like, oh, there's a secret section I just noticed. Which would be really weird, because it's like, yeah, but I just made a town not too long ago. Like, I think I don't know what it is canonically, but it looks like at least 5 years.
Right, yeah.
So not generations.
Yeah, not like you know. I mean, they kind of refer to him as like almost reincarnated.
But he's not this time.
Right.
It's a direct same person.
Well, I mean, they have kind of done that before. Was it the original Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2 were kind of like sequels?
Haha. In your face, Wario.
Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were direct sequels, kinda. Even though, I mean, that's where the whole timeline split. Yeah. They at least acknowledged that there was something going on in one timeline, but it's the same character. We gotta move him over here to,
all the characters kind of knew who Link was.
I mean, they have done things like that before. Then again, sometimes it's just like all lore. It's like everything's just starting fresh.
Yeah. Ooh, look at this. I forgot about this. They're actually rupees this time.
Yes. Now, here's an interesting thought. Shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. You distracted me with the rupees.
I hope it's not about the questionable bestiality in the game, but yeah, we'll just ignore that.
No, okay. Think about how long the timeline of the Zelda universe is.
Oh, yeah.
Because look at a game like Skyward Sword. It's canonically the first game, but like a lot of Zelda games, it includes time travel.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very small part of the game, but you are going back an entire 1,000 years before the very first game.
Wind Waker, like, between the last game and the actual, like, because they talk about at the beginning credits, it's like 1,000 years ago, so for every game, it's not like it's just, you know, this is Link's son. It's a whole reincarnation, which means it could be several thousand years later, so how long is the canonical timeline of the entire universe? I don't know.
And like Spirit Tracks is 100 years after Phantom Hourglass, and yeah, Twilight Princess actually had, I think, because the Temple of Time was technically supposed to be you go to the past. So it's like you have like these 1,000 years, or like, was it
in between games?
Oracle of Ages was 400 years you would time travel back.
Just revealed.
Yes, but yeah, it's like. You would think also, if you're talking about like thousands of years, I mean, think about what 1,000 years in our time would look like. How much technology has changed, and yet Link is still working with bombs that work about the same every time.
Well, I mean, 1,000 years, it's, you know, the exponential nature of technology. They just haven't hit it yet. In Breath of the Wild, a lot of the technology was like, it was called ancient technology, despite how advanced it was. It's a little bit weird.
Well, speaking of Breath of the Wild, there's a time travel element there, too. Because he's frozen for how many years?
Hundreds.
Yeah. So in that 100 years, I mean, sure, there's like a period in America, or not America.
Oh, there's the sword.
In Earth's history where technology did just come to a complete standstill. The Dark Ages. You know, because of everything that was going on. And that lasted about 800 years, but still, I mean, if you look at, like...
Well, I mean, to be fair, their Dark Age would make sense, too, because in-game, that guy looked like he got hit, too.
I know, it does.
Oh, hey, look, there's some people at the sides. Like, some actual guards.
Oh, yeah.
That's a neat detail. It actually does make sense, because that's when all the monsters came out, and so, you know, they're basically in hiding and in fight mode, and everything was kind of shut down. Oh, including the Guardians, that was actually originally theirs, but then Ganon took it over, so that one actually does make sense, why technology would not have improved at all, because they're basically hunkering down in survival mode.
But are they always just hunkering down every single time?
No, just between those two.
But that's just it. I can kind of understand, like, Wind Waker, the world gets flooded. Everybody's split into these different islands, but at no point in that, like, whatever, 100 years or so between, you know, whatever the game was before, like, they never developed better boats or ferries or...
Canonically speaking, it doesn't make too much sense, but from a gameplay perspective / atmospheric theme event, it makes sense because, you know, Link's very much a medieval type of game. Medieval magical fantasy. So if they develop technology that, you know, literally would stop that.
Yeah, I know. Oh, look, you won. We didn't even talk once about how you're actually doing on the track, other than, ooh, rupees.
We saw some guards. That's what we talked about.
Yes. All we care about is our thoughts on the Zelda game and the Zelda franchise.
Yeah, which, you know, still one of my favorites. Still love it. But I think that's a perfect time to end this episode. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye!
And that's when we'll discuss the ice climbers.
Come on. I did it! I broke it! Haha! And next one's the final track.